Has been noted.
Welcome to Vancouver Business Network, where entrepreneurs learn, network, and grow. I'm Roger Killen, the organizer. Our weekly workshop for entrepreneurs is brought to you by TELUS Business, the fastest and most reliable pure fiber broadband network in Metro Vancouver. Our speaker is Lucas Mattiello. You wouldn't expect that someone diagnosed with an anxiety condition would become a public speaking trainer. But that's exactly what Lucas Mattiello did. He uses his experience of living with anxiety for 15 years, the self-management tools he used to control stress, and his training as a certified professional coach to connect with clients. Lucas is passionate about empowering business professionals with the tools, techniques, and strategies needed to communicate with confidence. He is an internationally renowned communications trainer who has been featured in Forbes, is a best-selling author, and best of all, is an official TEDx speaking coach. Vancouver Business Network members and most welcome guests, it's time now for you to put your hands together and give Lucas a warm VBN welcome.
Thank you. Speech. Okay, I will do one. It's going to be extended. I just want to start off today and first by acknowledging you for making the effort to show up today. I mean, that's always the first step of this. You want to increase your income. You want to increase your impact, your influence through confident speaking. Most people, they wanted to do this. If you looked at the RSVPs, there's 70 some odd people. The other ones didn't show up. The fact that you showed up is already a sign that you're taking the effort because you had doubts, you had other things that you could have done, and you chose to be here. So first, let's give ourselves a round of applause for making the commitment to show up. Now, I want to start off by being very transparent from the beginning. I am here to sell you. What? I am here to sell you, but not the sell that you think. I'm here to sell you on your own power, on your own potential. Because a lot of times we go through life, we have a business, we're looking to become our best version of ourselves. We spend so many years developing our skill set, and yet we undersell ourselves. We downplay our accomplishments, we downplay our achievements, we're not getting the exposure that we deserve, we're not putting ourselves out there. And why? I heard self-doubts earlier. I heard being the center of attention, not having all the content written, not having it perfect. All these fears come up and they hold us back. And so if you walk out of here with one thing today, that's in selling yourself that you're good enough to put yourself out there. That's the win that we're all going to get because you're going to go share your message, improve your life, but more importantly, make a bigger impact in the world. Okay, so just take a second and look at your neighbors and tell them that you are amazing. Let's go. You're amazing. Yeah. You're amazing. Okay. Yes, there we go. You are amazing. I love hearing that. You know, Bayla's here saying that I'm amazing. And that's the biggest part. It's, you know, as much I can get into technical details and tips and techniques and strategies for an hour. I mean, I'm under the gun a bit today because we're here. I have a 50-minute allocation of time. The training that I do is 3 full days. So it's how can I compress it all? It's impossible. So my objective today is to give you a snapshot of actionable skills that you can take. But more importantly, it's about framing the opportunity of you having the courage to start putting yourself out there. If you walk away with that, that's going to be the most that you can get. I also have some resources for you that will help. And at the end, if this is something that you're interested in, I will offer a strategy call, see if it's a good fit. If it's good, we'll move forward. Okay, does that sound fair? Okay, great. So in today's world, you know, why are we here? It's because the most important thing is exposure. It's getting your message out there. We are in a different time. I saw recently on Facebook, got a little back and forth with this gentleman who's a personal trainer complaining. He's been a personal trainer for 20 years, has a lot of results, has a lot of excellent client testimonials. And he was on Facebook ranting about the young punks, personal trainers, who they're not good at what they do, but they know how to use video and put their message out there. He's like, they're not good at all, but they know how to market themselves. I'm not disputing that fact. That could be true. But the other part is that that he has a skill set, he has experience, and that's real. So when you harness that and start putting yourself out there, that's going to shift around. So wherever you are in this game, we are in an exposure era, and getting your message out there is the only thing that we need to do to stand out, to be seen as the expert, and to get the ideal clients, make the income, make the influence, but most importantly, the impact that you started your business to make. Okay. So with this, you are in the right place. Start off with this. You're an entrepreneur, that you're here to 10x your income, your impact, and your influence. You need more exposure. You want to attract your ideal clients. I had a client of mine recently. He was sharing with me that he has 400 clients. I asked him how many of them are ideal. He says maybe 100, 120. I go, who's all the other ones? He's like, they just came to me and it was just easy money. I go, it's easy money, but what's the actual cost? How excited are you to work with them? Do they get you fired up, or do you kind of dread when they reach out to you? It's like, I kind of dread it. I'm not excited. And so that's what we're working on, is he's getting his massive exposure. He started off being deathly afraid of speaking in public, and now he's doing monthly workshops. He has one tomorrow morning. He just texted me. He's like, I'm actually excited. He's like, this is a miracle. I never thought that I would say that I'm actually excited to speak in public, but there was a shift for him when he gave a talk. He had a mob of people come up to him after and say, like, oh my God, that was amazing. He messaged me. He's like, I felt like a rock star, and that was a shift that happened. But it all came back to the one thing, which is having the courage to put yourself out there. And again, framing this talk, everybody wants confidence, belief in your abilities, belief in yourself. That's great. But the thing that we need first to cultivate, to earn it, I always believe that confidence is earned only through action. So the piece that we need to focus on today for you to start on this journey, it's courage. And you might want to think about that, put it in a note on your phone, write it down. It's courage. And courage is taking action in the face of uncertainty. If there's one thing with my clients to get them to put themselves out there, it's to let go of all the excuses. Is it going to be perfect? Is it going to be good enough? Or is everyone going to like it? Is nobody going to watch it? All these control thoughts come up. None of that matters. You celebrate putting yourself out there and building from that. Everything else comes up, but it requires that courage to say, I don't know what's going to happen. Let's have some fun. So just raise your hand if you're committed to take courage and move forward and put yourself out there. And if you're not, look inside and ask yourself, what's the reason that's holding me back? Because that's going to give you the answers. It's going to get you the clues on to answer that question that needs to be answered. You want to make a positive difference in the world and change more lives. This is all through exposure. If you are playing small and you're the world's best, worst kept secret, like nobody knows who you are, that's not making the impact that you started your business to make. It's all exposure. It's all word of mouth, referrals, expertise, platforms, reach. It all comes from sharing your message in a bigger way. And lastly, you want to be the go-to expert in your industry and increase your income. I look at so many programs, and a lot of times the services are the same. The difference is the reputation, the reach, the influence that a person has. You become well known. I'll tell you that Forbes article, anytime I get a client reach out to me through that, they've never pushed back on price. They saw me there and they go, wow, Lucas, I'd love to work with you. What I need to do to make this happen. Other people, I get the email before they even book a call. How much is it before I book the call? Totally different context. They saw it in this, you're credible. This one, maybe just some guy trying to sell me something that may or may not work. It's a whole different ballgame. And so for you to start thinking about that, today's world, that expertise, being that position, all of this is going to set a massive difference for you to 10x your income, 10x your influence, and 10x the impact that you can make. And this is a quick picture of Mike Shaw. I just want to throw that out there. He was one of my favorite clients with TEDx to work with. Just an amazing individual. But as you see here, that's in front of a massive crowd. And that was over 2,000 people. He got up there. And so what I'll be sharing with you today is some steps to get started on that journey. With Mike, we had to work for 7 to 9 months to get him ready for the stage. But it's how can we start getting you out there? Either doing a Facebook Live, doing a talk, doing videos, anything like this. It's the foundation today that we're going to get you moving there. So what we're going to cover today is how becoming a more confident speaker can 10x your business. I'm obviously biased to saying that public speaking is the key. It's the secret weapon, but there's a lot of validity behind it, and I'll be sharing with you today. Okay. The top 3 mistakes that hold entrepreneurs back from increasing your confidence. We're going to share with you the mistakes so you never make them again. And these are the ones that are going to keep all your competitors stuck playing small while you leapfrog them and stand out. And third, 5 steps so that you can 10x your income, impact, and influence with confident speaking. Now, before we get into that, I have one question. And this is the fundamental question to take out today. How many hours a week do you spend on 10x growth activities? 10x growth activities. As entrepreneurs, it's easy to get caught up in the busy work. I get it. You're there, you got the emails come in, you got the tasks, you got to service your clients. But if you do an honest assessment and ask yourself, how many hours a week do I spend on 10x growth activities? So what are 10x growth activities? It's where do you get massive exposure? Where do you get massive leverage? Are you going to networking events, booking one-on-one coffees? If you actually tracked how many hours people spend, and most entrepreneurs, they're caught in this trap, servicing their clients or going to networking meetings, you go through, you exchange cards, hey, that's great, let's go for coffee. And then you go for coffee, and then you can't sleep at night because you had too many damn coffees in the day. I heard that one lady earlier saying that sleep was her biggest confidence shaker. I mean, this might be a good opportunity to shift it around so that you're able to sleep and get those 8 hours that we need. But all jokes aside, think about this right now. I don't know how many people are here, 35, 40, something like that. Most of you have never heard of me. You didn't know who I was before. I'm here. There's a transfer of power that happens when you're speaking on a stage. You are vetted. The responsibility is really on Roger. If I come up and completely blow it tonight, you're going to look back and you're going to go, geez, Roger, where did you get this guy? He was no good at all. Okay, that's a risk on him. It's a risk to my reputation, but it's more on him. Or maybe it's even equal. But there's a transfer of power. You have been vetted. Any stage that you get on, it's assumed that you are good, that you're credible, and that you're an expert in your industry. So that's why it's so powerful to do this. So that's why just ask yourself, how many hours a week do you spend on 10x growth activities? If it's 0 to 10, not enough. And that's the thing that happened for Jay. One was that catalyst where he gave that talk, felt like a rock star, had all the people rushing him. That switched his internal shift. But this was the question that got him to prioritize and actually block off time in his calendar to go, okay, this is my time for 10x business growth activities, booking talks, putting himself out there. So it's something for yourself. If you want to 10x your business, you got to dedicate the hours to make that happen. Quick introduction about who I am before we roll forward. I'm Lucas Mattiello. One thing, even on the networking, quick confidence tip. I hear this a lot. It's society, it's how we're brought up. My name is Derek. My name is Mick. My name is Rob. My name is, that's who you've been named. That's who somebody else called you versus I am. I am David. I am Joseph. It's about owning that. And this whole journey that we're going to go on, we're going to talk about the fears that come up. Fear of standing out, fear of embarrassing yourself, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being humiliated, fear of blanking and freezing. All these fears are going to come up. But ultimately, at the core, the fundamental question you must ask yourself is, who am I? You want to develop unshakable confidence to speak in front of any medium, public speaking, video, conferences, whatever you want. The one question, it's going to take years, but it gets you on that path, is ask yourself, who am I? The more that you become connected with who you are, the less the other stuff happens and it matters. This is all noise because we're giving up our power. When we're afraid of what other people think, we lose our confidence. So if you get up and you share your message and you get 0 engagement, 0 likes, only 2 people out of an audience of 40 actually like you, are you going to be rattled by that or are you going to keep moving forward? It's all about that inner game. Okay, so we'll cover a bit about techniques, but the big picture, when I really work with people, it is all that inner game because that's the only thing that's going to come back. And the one shift that needs to happen is we have to take full responsibility. I did a workshop last weekend and Justin, he's in there. He's a designer, really amazing artist at what he does. But the biggest shift that happened for him was on the second day. He goes, Lucas, I realized that there's no external opponent. There's nobody else. He's like, this is really a battle of me versus myself. All these fears, all these hesitations I have about sharing my ideas, putting my work out there, it's all my own fears and insecurity. I'm like, exactly. Oh, why is that exciting? He goes, because now I have nobody to blame and I have access to work on the thing that needs to get worked on. So it's a mindset shift to really come from it about going, how am I getting in my own way? When we do that, we start standing in our power. We can get the clarity of the answers that need to be answered in order for you to achieve your most confident self. Don't know if that's connecting with anyone, but if it is, great. If not, something else will. So let's keep rolling. All right, so I'm Lucas Mattiello. I help entrepreneurs to become confident communicators and live their dreams. Live their dreams. This is all about freedom. Freedom to express yourself. Freedom to make the money that you want. Freedom to transform more people's lives. It's all based on exposure and the confidence to put yourself out there. We do this through intensive live workshops based out of here in Vancouver. I am an official speaking coach with TEDx. That's been an amazing journey to take people on, to see them living their dreams, to have that power to literally shift hundreds of thousands and potentially millions of lives. And I was featured in Forbes magazine, which is amazing. Again, that's a big piece for the credibility. So that's just a bit about who I am. People often see that and they're like, oh, okay, this guy, it's easy. And I remember when I was struggling with anxiety and panic attacks, just getting started, looking around and going, oh yeah, making excuses. They caught a break. They're just natural at it. They're just, they had some certain genetic or some reason that allowed them to move forward. And I want to share with you, it's all a muscle. It's a skill. The more you put yourself out there, the more we increase and we improve on it. It's not necessarily about practice, though. It's about intelligent practice. How are you exposing yourself and building yourself up? And we'll get into a bit of that as we move forward. And in my journey, in the past 7 years, I've trained over 400 clients in intensive scenarios. And through that process, you see certain patterns. You see the same fears come up. Yes, we're all individuals. At the same time, 80% of the problems are exactly the same as everybody else. And so a lot of times people have to give up and really connect with, I'm not special. That can be a big breakthrough though. And say, you're not special. Like that's one thing you think about. You are not special. Your fears, your insecurities, you are not special. Now, why that's beneficial is a lot of times there can be shame and isolation, and we beat ourselves up thinking, why am I doing this? What's wrong with me? Why can't I be more confident? Well, the reality is everybody's struggling. We all have our own challenges. And so when you can take that and realize that this is a common problem across that everybody struggled with at some point in their life, it reduces the fear, it reduces the stigma, it reduces the shame, and allows you to move forward faster. So if there's anything you take out of this, it's that this is something that everyone struggles with. So if you have the courage to put yourself out there, you will start leapfrogging them very quickly. I want to share with you one thing. Again, I said I'm on a time crunch, don't have a lot of time, have a lot of training, but I do have this amazing guide. It's the Speak with Confidence guide. I want to offer that to you for free. What you need to do is go to levelupliving.com. You'll see there's an opt-in box, put in your name and email, you will get the guide. In the guide, I wanted to do this as a value add to give some more technical pieces that you could get, digest, and implement on your own time. And the second thing I want to say is I'm going to stick around for as long as is needed to answer any questions you have after. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to help. For me, this is why I've been put on this planet. Entrepreneurs are the problem solvers of the world. And when you're not sharing your message in a bigger way, the entire world loses. You lose, but so do your ideal clients. And that's why we're here to make that change. What you're going to get in the guide is you're going to get the 4 big concepts to become a confident speaker, how to overcome the fear of failure, and many more secrets. So definitely get the guide. It's free. It's going to be very helpful for you. If you were in this room, it's something that you want to get. All right. Now, who am I? I do the speaking. I do the training. It's all great. This is Melissa. She's one of my favorite clients ever. We worked together. She gave a TEDx talk about how to have the courage to live the life of your dreams and go out there. The title of it was actually how to have the courage, or the book was how to have the courage to grab a lion's testicles. It's not literally, it's a African saying about going for what you want, going out of your comfort zone, doing something dangerous to have that win and to build your own confidence. And it was amazing. We worked together for 7 months to get her ready for the stage. A lot of calls, a lot of training. And literally that day, the day of, we're getting ready. There's so much going on in the air, from the green room, grounding, getting calm. She's getting ready to go on stage. 30 seconds before game time, after putting in 200, 250 hours, the nerves pick up. And this is going to happen to you too. Just before you're about to put yourself out there, that's when this wave of self-doubt is just going to come up and it's going to tell you, it's going to scream, don't do this, this is dangerous, you're going to screw up. That's where you have to sit with it and take that first step. When you take that first step, it all gets clear after that. But sometimes you need someone in your corner. So 30 seconds before she's going on, she turns to me and goes, Lucas, I need you to hold my hand. This Sharuk, one of the other coaches, took this picture and we stood there in silence, holding hands. She walked on stage and gave an amazing talk. And the real lesson here is 2 things. 1, fear's going to come up right before you have your greatest moments or you put yourself out there. And 2, everybody needs someone in their corner. A lot of times, the person that you need in your corner is the person who believes in you more than you believe in yourself. And when I mentioned that from the beginning, that I'm here to sell you, it's to sell you on your greatness, but also find someone who sees the greatness in you. Even in this room, in my workshops, when I start off, I look around the room and everyone, they're closed off. They got so much worry and fear, everything. They're invested. Everything's going on. And I just sit there and I smile because I'm looking at them and I'm imagining what they're going to look like at the end of the training when they're expressed, they're open up, they're letting go of their past fears, and they're having more fun putting their message out there. So anytime you're giving a talk, if we react to the audience, your confidence is going to get sapped very quickly. We have to look at the audience, maintain your frame, maintain your own internal confidence, and go, okay, why am I here? I'm not going to react to your resistance. I'm going to keep powering through it. And when you do that, you're going to win people over. Plus, you're going to build yourself up. Okay? Now, just a bit about my journey. Roger mentioned earlier, panic attacks, anxiety. From the age of 15 to 29, I struggled with panic attacks. When I was 15, I was in high school. I remember high school wrestling was the worst scenario for me. I would go to practice. It would be good until we did matches. And then I'd get caught in a hold, head and arm, something that I just feel constricted and I couldn't get out of. And for me, it was the feeling of being trapped. I would just be like, I need to get out of here as quick as possible. I felt like I was dying and I would just give up. I'd give up, run to the washroom, throw water in my face, look in the mirror and think, one, what the hell was that? And two, how could I let that happen to me? I didn't know that I had panic attacks. I didn't know I had anxiety. I just felt like I was dying all the time. And then it created dread and anticipation. Maybe you felt that in your life before, where you have uncertainty about the future. You have anxiety building up. And the worst part, though, was a feeling of helplessness, of looking in that mirror and going, what's wrong with you? Why can't you be like everybody else? And that thought just reduced my confidence to extremely low levels. Because when you're in that state, it's very hard to have any hope. So that went on for 15 years until I was 29. I was laid off from my job in finance, a job that I hated, but it had some prestige with it. And when I got laid off from the job, it felt like everything got taken away from me. I lost my identity. I lost who I was in the world. I showed up. Everybody else was passing me in my career, in their careers, and I was just being left behind. And at that moment, things spiraled out. It got really bad, got depressed. The days started to blur together, and I had a lot of anxiety about what am I going to do with my life? Where am I going to go? And it was through that journey that lasted about a year. But when it hit the darkest points, what happened was I went to the doctor, and he's like, you look like you're in terrible shape here. What's going on? And I was rough. And he goes, I'm going to make a recommendation that you go to the hospital. So there I was, 29. It was a few days before my 30th birthday. And I find myself here, Burnaby General Mental Health. Now, I don't know if you've been to the mental hospital or not, but it is not a very reinforcing place for confidence, okay? It's a very dark place to go. And I remember showing up. I drove into the parking lot. I parked my car. And there's about 10 steps to that front door. I'm walking there and I'm thinking, okay, I'm almost 30 years old. I've been fighting these panic attacks and anxiety for 15 years. And I'll start doing some quick math, some scary quick math. If I live to 70, I can't go another 40 years like this. I didn't want to live anymore. And I have a great family, great, friends. But when you're in that really dark place, it can feel really overwhelming. And so I remember walking, it's those first 5 steps were the darkest steps of my life. And then 5 steps to that front door, something shifted for me. And I started thinking, I'm finally going to get help. I'm finally going to figure out what's been going on. I'm finally going to get some solutions to move forward. And then I started to get a little bit excited. And I remember I walked in, I see the front desk, and I'm like, hey, I'm here to check in, see Dr. Warich. And I was like really happy, and maybe it threw her off. She thought I was crazy, but I was actually excited. I was very excited. And I remember I met Dr. Warich. She came in. And one thing with the mental hospital is they have one-way doors. And I don't know why, but for some reason, that really reinforced, like, am I that much of a threat that I can't just open a door and walk in like everybody else? I don't know. That for some reason, that and the fluorescent lights, I think they need to do an interior design change. But I went in and I met Dr. Warich. And what I remember was when I met him, he was so friendly and non-judgmental. He was so accepting. He's like, hey, what's going on? Where are you? So we sit down. I go into his office. I'm still on edge. And he goes, okay, he runs me through a bunch of tests and questions. He was like, look, you have panic disorder. And it's very uncomfortable. You feel like you're going to die all the time. But the good news is there's a high recovery rate on this. We're going to put you on a program. You're going to have to make a lot of lifestyle changes. And you're going to have to face your fears through exposure therapy. But if you do this, you're going to get over this. And I thought, my mind was blown because I was thinking, what? I thought I was living with this for the rest of my life. I'm like, you're telling me there's a chance that one day I'm going to wake up and not have panic attacks and not live in constant fear of this dread, of this doom that's coming up? And he's like, absolutely. I'm like, all right, man, I'm all in. You tell me what I need to do. So went, diet change, had to give up martial arts, take up yoga, had to cut out alcohol, a whole slew of things, and start facing my fears. Within a year, going through the program, started becoming more confident, but it was every day, this incremental exposure. Facing a fear, coming up, then it dropped off. I'm like, okay, I overcame that win. And you keep stacking these wins. And within a year, year and a half, I was like, all right, functioning, putting myself out there. So I got very inspired with this situation because I went from the darkest place to feeling actually pretty good about myself because I'd been overcoming a lot personally. And so one of the things too is for your own confidence, start thinking about what is the adversity that you've gone through. Because that's something that I draw tremendous strength from. Even here, I'm doing this talk. There could be a bunch of comments after on the meetup page. Crap speaker, hated him, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I mean, hopefully it's not, but it could be. But if it does, the one thing that I always come back to is I was there. Comments online? Like really, I'm going to stop pursuing my dreams because of comments online about people that I don't know and that I have no connection to. Your past, the darkest moments that you had, can be tremendous strength when we look at it that way. Think about the adversity that you've gone through. That's going to power you more than anything else. When you're putting yourself out there, it's because when we are sharing our message, it's you're pursuing your dream versus the possible thoughts of other people who may or may not matter. Always stay true to yourself and always share your message. That's all that connects. Now with this, I was going out there and I got really inspired and I'm like, you know what, there's a lot of people that are probably struggling with anxiety. I was isolated. I thought I was the only one. Through this program, I realized that there was millions of people also struggling with anxiety and panic attacks. And I want to share my story so that they didn't feel that isolation, they had some hope, and they knew things that could change. So I started off speaking, sharing my message. I was at youth groups, mental health organizations, associations, talking to students, going to meetup events, starting off, right, getting that foundation. I remember one time I was at Douglas College in the US talking to a group of nurses. And I go up there and the professor, I was so nervous. It was my first talk ever. And I go, what do I have to do? Like, how should I put my message together? What do you want me to talk about? And she goes, oh, you'll be great. Just get up there. I'm like, I have an hour though. She goes, just get up there. I went up there. I had no idea what to do. It was the most rambly, disconnected story for an hour all over the place. And we opened a Q&A. And this young lady in the middle, she raised her hand and I go, yes. I was so excited. Like, I got questions. Open it up. And she goes, you know, now that you're back in regular society, how does it feel? I'm like, I go, excuse me? She said, yeah, you know, now that you're back in your regular society with everyone else, like, how does it feel? So I was so nervous in my delivery that she thought I'd been locked away in an institution for like a year and a half. And this was part of my reintegration to society. And the rest of the Q&A period was an absolute blur. It was an absolute blur because I couldn't get past that. I'm like, that's what she's thinking? So I sit in my car and I'd been making these declarations. I had so many people saying like, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your life, you're pursuing a pipe dream, you'll never be able to make this work. And I sat in that car and sometimes we have moments that really just knock us down. I'm there sitting in my car thinking, replaying this. Like, I'm putting myself out there and the impression people are getting is he's been locked away in a mental institution and he's getting back to reality. I'm like, I must be terrible. I must be the worst ever at this. And I broke down, I started crying. And I remember just sitting there, just full tears, having this hope to pursue a dream and having the feedback that you're not good enough by any stretch of the imagination. And it was in that moment I had to make a decision. Either abandon this dream, go back to finance, something I didn't like, or find a mentor, find somebody that's going to guide me because I had the passion, but I didn't have the plan. I didn't have the support. I didn't have the techniques to become better at this. And that's where I invested in my mentor, and it's been taken off ever since. Finding that person that believes in you, finding somebody in your life that has a path that's going to guide you to the fast track, that was a pivotal shift. And that was 5 years ago, and now it's a completely different life. So I'm out there, I'm speaking in public, I'm doing corporate trainings, I do my own trainings, I have a great lifestyle. But I discovered the missing link. Content is only one piece. If you want to put yourself out there, people often focus so much on the content. Get the right message, give me the right message, give me the perfect script. It's not the script. The script is always going to change. The thing that's constant is who you are showing up. I will take confidence, inner confidence and delivery over scripting any day. Because this is about putting yourself out there. This is about exposing yourself, saying, who am I? And the one thing with speaking in public, the reason I'm passionate about it, to build your business, it has all these opportunities, but the stage reveals all. Your insecurities, your fears, it gives you access to address it. It's easy to avoid it day to day. It's easy to be behind the scenes, to be playing small, to not have it face to face. But when you can look at it and actually embrace it and go, yes, I'm excited to take this on and see what comes up, that's the fast track to success. Because the only way is straight through. We can avoid it, but what's going to happen? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, you're going to look back. It's the same habits that are going to come up. I believe that the stage, the videos, putting yourself out there, it reveals everything you need to make this change. So I went there. Fears and anxiety are what really stop people. That's the other piece. This is an inside-out process. Again, a lot of my work is heavily personal development focused because it's not about the script. It's about your own fears and how we get in our own way and how to move past it. And the feeling of freedom, of abundance, and the impact that you can make is priceless. This is what we're playing for. Okay, so this is the big picture. Now, how to grow your business, I want to share with you. There's really 3 ways. Lead generation, so just get more leads, get more exposure, get more people coming in. Second one is lead conversion. Once you have that audience of people, how many people are becoming clients? Second phase. And then step 3 is lead retention. How do you keep them in there? How do you keep them engaged to keep making money? I'm not going to address lead retention because that's not in the scope of today's talk, but we're going to focus on lead generation first and foremost with a bit of lead conversion. Does that sound good? Yeah. All right, good. Just want to check time. Okay, we're good. Okay, great. Now, why public speaking confidence is your secret weapon? Again, I believe it's a secret weapon. I'm obviously biased, and it's absolutely true. Why? Because your competition won't do it. Right? The public speaking, the fear of putting yourself out there is one of the most common fears there is. That's why most people don't do it. So the fact that you even do it, even if you do a crappy job, you are already skyrocketing people. But the second is to shift your mindset around it. People go, oh, well, what if I start out and it's not perfect? This is like going to the gym. Every time you go to the gym, you're getting stronger. You're working out a muscle. The more relevant experience you have, the better you're going to become with it. 2, you get massive exposure. Instead of these one-on-ones, you're scaling your time, scaling your reach. 3, attract your ideal clients. Again, you can be in this room, in any room, but you can give a specific message that's targeted for a specific type of person. I believe you want to alienate the people who are not the fit so that you can be loved by the people that are. I want to turn people off. If you're not a fit, if you're not open to personal development, if you're not heart-centered, purpose-driven, you just want to make money, you don't care about what you have to do to get that, I don't want to work with you. There's somebody else for you, but it's not me. But I say that because I want people to start self-selecting. I want them to go, oh, personal development, inside-out process, yeah, I'm into that. Great. Because if it's not, it's going to be a rough ride. So you want to alienate people so that you can create that tribe that absolutely loves you. The other one, too, is that the same skills apply to video. You speak in public, you speak on video. It's the same thing. It's the fact that you are putting yourself out there. So this is why it's the same skill set, because video is blowing up. I don't know if you've seen Instagram recently, you see Facebook Live, but I see this on Instagram. It's like you scroll through the feed. So many of them are videos now. Like video is taking over. It is here to stay. Jay was at a conference. My client Jay was at a conference for financial advisors. And he's like, there's so many 50-year-old financial advisors. They're saying, I need to get good on video. Like if 50-year-old financial advisors are seeing this as an opportunity to start getting out in video, then it's an opportunity for you too. Because that's the last group that I was expecting to really get on this. Like, hey, this sounds like a good opportunity. Everybody's seeing it. And I believe that this is a gold rush. We're at the beginning. You have about a year and a half to get in on it. If you decide to start getting in on video and building your skills up, you're going to be ahead of the crowd. But within a year and a half, everyone's going to get in on it because they can't afford not to. So you have the moment right now to start. One action step I suggest, if you have Instagram, even record yourself on video now. Say that you're here. Hey, I was at this event, and this is one of the challenge to put myself on video. Do that. Do a Facebook Live. Use me as an excuse to put yourself out there. Whatever it is, start getting your skills. Start building from that. That's going to move you forward faster than anything. The last one is that stage time is wealth time. This is a mindset shift. You have to look at stage time is wealth time. There is no opportunity greater for you in business to 10x your income than being on a stage. There's nothing that's going to have that same effect. And to reinforce this, I want to share with you just quickly how to calculate your stage value. This is one that one of my clients, Nadia, as soon as this came up, it just snapped her. She's like, oh my God, I need to do this even more. And that's the thing. People are in, but they're not really in. This is a stage that can make you really in, okay? So look at it. Let's just say hypothetically, you're in front of a room of 30 people. You're giving a talk, probably something similar to this. Ask yourself first, how many leads? On average, 30 people. Say that most people in the room are at least interested in your topic, otherwise they wouldn't show up, right? So first of all, you self-select with the topic. The title has to lead to something they're interested in, bring them in. Second, you get 10 leads. How many clients are you gonna get out of that? Say you get 3 clients, 30%, a fair number, kind of low. All right, if you get 3 clients and the value per client, this is important. How much is the product that you offer? Let's say it's $1,000, that's $3,000 from one talk. So it's an hour talk, you just made $3,000 in that hour. Let's say scenario 2, it's a $5,000 transaction. Now that one talk just netted you $15,000. And $5,000 is not that high of a program to offer. Or if you look at it, you get them in and then you build up from there. And the third one is if you have a $10,000 product, which a lot of my clients do, those 3 clients equal $30,000. So let's just break out the numbers. If you do one talk a month, and let's say that we use the middle scenario at $5,000 program, you're making $15,000 a talk. That's $180,000 a year, and you're doing one talk a month. I don't know how many other activities in your business can generate that type of income and exposure through with 1 hour a month. So something to you, if that excites you, I'm just showing you who's excited to possibly get up and start putting your message out there now seeing this. Okay, handful of you, yeah? There's, again, I'm gonna say 1,000, I am biased, of course, but this is legit. The numbers make sense. It's the greatest opportunity because of the fear. Most people don't have the courage to even get started on this journey. That is your advantage. Own it. Every time you're doing a video, you feel nervous, go, who else has the confidence or the courage to even do this? Not many. Great, you do. Build up that inner confidence, inner courage, and put yourself out there. Warren Buffett is jumping in with a testimonial to reinforce it. Of course, Warren Buffett, he knows a thing or two about good investments. He says that his public speaking course was arguably the best investment he's ever made in his life. He's given many keynotes to business students, especially in the corporate world. He says that this skill, the skill of being able to speak in public, it increases your value by 50%. Most of your colleagues will not have the courage or the confidence to stand up and lead. And that's why when you do, you stand out, it's going to set you apart. Your value goes up. And he goes, there's no other skill because competence is not enough. Competence is expected. If you're not competent, you don't have a job. But speaking in public, you're seen as a leader, it increases your value. I want to get into quickly the top 3 mistakes that are stopping you from becoming a confident speaker. Mistake 1 is avoidance. Look, I mean, this is common sense, but if you avoid it, you're not putting yourself out there, that's a mistake. First, seize every opportunity, all right? Can you say that for yourself? I will seize every opportunity. Just raise your hand and go, I will seize every opportunity. Seize every opportunity. Okay, great. Because that's the thing that it's just seizing. Showing up is more than half the game. I'd say it's 80% of the game. You will always refine and improve. Now, what happens? There's a few things here. People are turning down opportunities to speak. They're not actively pursuing speaking opportunities. They're not giving themselves permission. This is the biggest piece here, especially that bottom. Give yourself permission. People go external. They're waiting for someone in to say, yes, you can give a talk now. You have the credibility to do so. You have the credentials to do so. It's never going to happen. This is a situation you have to give yourself permission. What's happening though is you got to believe that you're good enough to start. But a lot of the fears people say is, I need to be the top expert before I can share and start giving my message out there. Not at all. If you have answers that people have value in, you are qualified to start sharing your message. So just own that. That's it. It's the lowest barrier of entry. Start. Give yourself permission. Mistake number 2 is being vanilla. Being vanilla is trying to fit in. What is everyone else doing? If I'm a realtor, get a white Mercedes or BMW and try to fit in with everybody else. Like I see networking meetings. I'm picking on realtors. I work a lot with them. But they go to meetings and they're like, oh, I'm so-and-so from Sutton, from Remax, from whatever. You would be better off standing up and going like, hi, I'm Lucas and I'm realtor number 5 in this room. And then I would at least get a cheap laugh and stand out. Like, oh, that's kind of funny. Instead of doing this, what, I sell your product for your house for the top dollar, help you find the dream. Like, that's so vanilla. Everybody says that. How do you stand out? So symptoms that come up with this, people pleasing, wanting to be liked by the entire audience, never going to happen. It's never going to happen. The faster that you embrace it, go like, oh, not everyone in this room loves me. Great, that's good. That means that other people will. Okay, if again, it's that polarizing aspect. You have to do that, but it comes back to what makes you different, what makes you unique. When you have that, we can build up from there. 2, not willing to polarize. Ask yourself, like a brand. I would say if you go to an ice cream shop, they have, Casa Gelato's got 200 flavors. Nobody's going to roll in and say, I want vanilla. Oh, vanilla, wow, that's so special. No, you're going to look for something exotic, something that stands out. It's the same with you. You are in a sea of different flavors. What makes you unique? If you're going vanilla, you will not be standing out. You will be overlooked. So what makes you unique? And that playing it safe, fear of sharing opinions, ideas, all these things, right? The biggest risk, this whole playing it safe, the biggest risk is not sharing what you really feel. You're going to have resentment. You're going to hold yourself back, and you're not going to be true to yourself. Share your thoughts. People are going to like it. They're not. Doesn't matter. You're going to polarize to monetize and bring in the people that matter. Okay. Mistake number 3 is renting the stage versus owning the stage. Okay. Renting the stage versus owning the stage. When you're renting the stage, you're up there, but it can get pulled out from any time. You're not on solid ground. You're on shaky ground. You're looking at the audience. Who's got their arms crossed? Wow, oh, I got to win you over. Please like me. That's the fastest way to lose. Instead, stay true to yourself and own the stage. How do we do this? Well, actually, these are some elements of renting the stage. First, imposter syndrome. Feeling like you're fraud, feeling like you're not good enough. There's a lot of literature to that. And that guide that I mentioned earlier will help with that. 2, reading the audience to seek validation. Big one. People are scanning the audience going, who likes me, who doesn't like me? When you're doing that, you're self-editing and you're not in the present moment. Okay. 3, worrying about how you look or you sound. It's a harsh truth to accept, but in order to be the confident speaker that you want, this is the trade-off that has to happen. When we boil down all the fears, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to blank out. I don't want to look stupid. I statements. What happens is they're more afraid of looking bad than I'm actually adding value to the world. It's a greedy thing. And only taking responsibility from that place that if you are not sharing your message with authenticity and as much as possible, you are actually doing a disservice to the world. We have to get past ourselves. Some people are going to like your message, some aren't. But the one thing I can assure you is that when you put yourself out there, you're going to be your biggest critic. You're going to be your number one critic. Other people are just happy for you. They're like, hey, I can't believe you're getting up there. They're probably happy going, I'm glad that's not me up there. I'm glad somebody else is speaking. So always think that when we can come from the place that, okay, I'm my own worst critic. I'm the only person getting in my way. And I'm actually doing a service to the world by sharing my message. You're going to have permission to start putting yourself out there in a bigger way. Okay. And then over scripting. This comes up so often. Give me the right script. Give me the perfect script. What happens, even if you were able to memorize, 1, it would take so many hours. It would be distracting you from your business. But 2, is that when you're getting up there, you're going to be in your head trying to remember what you wrote down and not actually being present with the people, not being present with the audience. And they feel that. Okay, they feel that. It requires trusting yourself. That's a whole other piece that I will probably address in Q&A or come talk to me privately after. Now, 5 steps to 10x your business income, your impact, and your influence with speaking confidence. We're going to get into 5 strategies. So I mentioned that there was lead generation, lead conversion, and then lead retention. Step 1 is lead generation. Okay, so this is all exposure. That's the one thing. If you take this from today, this is all an exposure game. The more that you get yourself out there, the more that you're going to win. The more people are going to find you, the more that you're going to build that profile and your reach. Speak on stages. 2, speak on videos. That's simple. Why I like this? Stages is that intimate connection. There's a transfer of energy. Video, scale, reach, automated lead generation. It's that simple. Those are the 2 pieces you need. Now, action steps. 1, identify where you could speak. People say, okay, that's great. Yeah, I want to give talks. I want to 10x my business. Where the hell do I go? The piece here is, where do my ideal clients go? When I first started my business, I was a stress management trainer. One of the best decisions I ever made was joining the Human Resource Management Association. I'd go to these events, go to these networking events, and I'd be there at these tables, and they go, hey, what do you do? I go, I do stress management training. Why are you here? You're not an HR manager. No, I'm not. Guess who hires me? HR managers. So many coaches and trainers today, they're always going around. They go to their own circles. Oh, because you feel validated. Oh, you feel the struggles. You can relate to that. Cool. That's not 10xing your business. We need to fish where the fish are. Identify where the fish are. That is step 1, and go speak there. And then 2, what goals, problems do they have that you can solve? It's that simple. Identify where are they going to be, what problems do they have, and how do you solve it? We make it hard until we make it easy. We can overthink this entire thing. We can overthink this entire thing, or we can make it very simple. Like if you're an entrepreneur and you have a business, it's very simple. Problem, solution. You have people with problems. What do they got? What's the solution that you have to fix it? It's that simple. Get clear with your ideal clients, and we can move forward from there. So this is step 1, lead generation. If all you get out of here is focusing on where your ideal clients, where they hang out, fish where the fish are, put videos. If you have groups, if you have a specific target market, ask yourself, where do these groups hang out? Or create a value video and show up to the group. Ask the administrator, hey, I have this video that's going to be very valuable to your group. Do you mind sharing it within there? Yeah, okay, that's adding value to the group. And they don't have to produce the content. Plus, it gives you exposure to your ideal clients. Win-win scenarios. We always want to be thinking about this because lead generation is the key, because we can have that big group and then we can start to convert. The second phase is lead conversion. Now, speak only to your ideal clients. If there's a second piece that you take out of this one, it's get very specific about who your ideal client is. Okay? The more specific, literally, not just entrepreneur. Like for myself, I work with entrepreneurs who are speakers or aspiring speakers. If you don't speak or you don't want to get up there and speak, I can't help you. You're of no value. Like I can't be of value for you and you have no value for me. It's like, all right, cool. So we got that. But then 2, are you purpose driven? My big picture client, they want to be thought leaders in industries. Right? That's the big goal. That's the dream. They want to get on massive stages, make massive change. But the more specific you can get into it, how old are they? Where do they hang out? What are their interests? What groups and associations do they belong to? The more that we can drill down to that, the more clarity you're going to have and the better your conversion rate's going to be. Okay? Because most people, they go very wide because they want to, it's this mindset. If I get more people in, it's going to increase my rates. No, it's not. I heard earlier someone was mentioning cold calling was their confidence shaker. It's like, okay, yeah, if they're not targeting, I mean, that's just hell on earth. You imagine that? You're just cold calling people that have no interest in what you do. You're going to get rejection after rejection after rejection, but get very specific and add this value. And the reason that, cold calling is a very popular technique, speaking on stages and video is so much more effective. I don't like the phone getting slammed down on me. I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? Instead, if I can create a value ad saying, look, are you an entrepreneur that wants to get your message out in a bigger way, but the fear of public speaking keeps getting in your way? Here's 5 steps that are going to help you. All right, cool. They're consuming the content. It's a call to action. It's permission marketing. I don't want to harass you. If you don't want to be on my list, you don't want my videos, cool, don't watch. But if you do, definitely consume because it's going to add value. So this is getting clear about this. Then 2, what problems are they struggling with, right? The more clarity we have, get specific. What are the problems? And again, think about what keeps them up at night. What are the worries? I was at a training recently about mindset, and the gentleman was saying that 80% of our worries are the same worries that we had the day before. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So these worries are just keep coming up. When you can show up as a solution to change it, people are going to love you. So again, thinking about that, what problem are they struggling with? And then what is your solution, right? What is your solution and what will their life be like after? One thing I've learned from selling from stage and doing these transformational workshops, oftentimes we can get in our own way. We underprice our services. We underprice solutions that we offer because we think, oh, well, if it's cheaper, it's easier. That's the fastest way to get low quality clients that are not going to make the biggest shift. One thing I've learned is that people buy transformation, period. They don't care about the details. They don't care about every single step. If you put too many steps in front, they're going to check out. People buy transformations. You are here with this problem. I can get you here to this dream result. Great, that sounds excellent. What do we need to do to make that happen? And actually, I learned this. It was a very hard lesson. I used to have $97 one-day seminars. I was at this 3-day marketing event. So I'm at this event, and this lady comes up, and she's like, oh my God, Lucas, I totally need what you do. I'm like, oh yeah, great. She's like, when's your next event? I go, it's in 2 weeks from now on Saturday. She goes, how much is it? I go, $97. She goes, I can't afford it. Oh, tough times are tough. I'm in between, blah, 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 blah. A whole bunch of excuses. Yeah, no problem. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. I get it. No problem. Let her go. The next day, there's an offer made at the workshop for a $9,000 one-year mastermind. I run into the same lady in the hallway. Oh my God, Lucas, I'm so excited. I just signed up for the mastermind. I'm like, what? I'm like, I thought you couldn't afford it. Oh, Lucas, no, but I'm telling you, this is going to completely change my business. It's going to completely change my life. I just put it on my credit card. It's going to work out. It was in that moment where I learned very quickly, I never listen to somebody when they say they can't afford it. All it means is that it's not enough of a pain point, or they don't see the value in the transformation. And that's one thing. If you take from here, money objections is just pain and priorities. That's all it is. $97, $9,000. And it's like, oh God, that was a great lesson to get early in business. So the action step on this is write out the problem solution message. Very simple. What's the problem your clients face? What's the solution you offer? And then with the call to action, that's the biggest piece here. Call to action. People need to be led. Very often people give value. They give, but they don't have that call to action. What's the next step? Everybody needs to be led. When you're sharing your message on stage or on video, think in your mind, they need to be led. You need to repeat the call to action repeatedly so that it sinks in and they go, oh, that's what I need to do. Never feel that you're being overbearing. You're actually doing them a disservice if you don't. It has to be reinforced. That's just the way we work, okay? Andrew, I'm gonna quickly go through this because I don't want a time crunch here. But Andrew came in and he's a longtime Toastmaster. You know, he's like, oh, I know it all. I've been Toastmaster for years. Yeah. Okay, cool. He comes in, we start doing that inner work. We start doing that. How can we cultivate that inner confidence? Bring the lion out. Bring the lion, that's our whole thing. Bring the lion, share, own that stage. So anyways, he comes out, shares a message out there, gets a client that pays for his course 10 times over, and now he's a raving, he's a raving advocate. And the thing is, sometimes we come in and we think that we know it all, or, oh, I'm good enough, or I get this, oh, I speak regularly. I go, I'm glad you do. Great. There's something you're going to get out of this. It's either the inner work, it's the exposure work, it's the accountability, put yourself out there. There's always opportunities to improve. A closed mind is always going to hold you back in business. Just think about it. Like, you can always learn, so take it on, okay? Now, step 3 is get some tools. I'm going to quickly go through some tools because literally anybody can be a more confident speaker if they have tools to become better. First one is body posture. Instead of, show of hands, who's seen that Amy Cuddy TEDx talk on body posture? Okay, just a few of you? Yeah, okay. So she did a whole study. I'm not going to get into it, but really it was about power posing, especially before talks, before videos. Your posture is going to dictate how you feel. So a contracted pose, or if you're sitting in a chair on your phone, you're adopting this contracted pose. Instead, you want to open up and make yourself as big as possible. Standing up, open yourself up. If you're a guy, don't power pose at the urinal. That might be very awkward and uncomfortable. But that being said, opening up, being expansive is a big piece. 2, breathing. How are you breathing? Before you give a talk, take a step. One of my favorite techniques, I call it 4-6-8. 4 count inhale through your nose, hold it for 6, 8 count through your mouth, and just keep cycling it. What it does, you're going to get in a calmer state, you're going to get more relaxed. It's going to help you out to be more present. 3, pausing. Slow down. When you pause, the one shift that happens is you know your information in your mind. You know what it is. It makes complete sense to you. The audience has to listen to it, absorb it. Do I like it? Do I not? It takes some time. The more that you slow down, the more time they have to absorb. They're going to be on that path with you. If they don't, if you're speeding through it, they're going to get checked out. The default statement is no. You're going to make the offer, they're going to go no. And it's not because they didn't get it, it's because they didn't understand it, they were overwhelmed. Slow down, let them absorb it, okay? And last, I want to quickly share this with you. I touched on it earlier, a content structure. Anytime you're putting your message, people always want like a content tool, pass. So problem, agitation. So what are the consequences of that problem? Because you need to drum up that pain. Otherwise, people are just going to say no. You need to drum up that pain. What's the solution you offer? And then the sale, the call to action. The call to action can be book a call, run to the back of the room, sign up, whatever it is, have a call to action. You always want to think about this. Even when I'm building out a talk, what do you want the audience to do, think, or act differently at the end of your talk? I start with that. You always start with the intention and then reverse it out. If you want them to buy, get clear with that first, okay? 4th one is adopt a growth mindset. A growth mindset, this is based on the research of Carol Dweck. She has a great TEDx talk, or I'm not going to talk about it, but you can go look it up. But I'll share with you, this is the first one. It's gain the courage to put yourself out there. And the courage is the biggest piece. Uncertainty comes up, put yourself out there. And then second, it's the question you have to ask yourself, progress or perfection? When people want perfection, you're not going to make any progress. We have to give up perfection and focus on progress. When I work with clients, I have them share, they always answer 2 golden questions. 1, what did I do well? Reinforce that. What did I do well first? And second, what will I refine next time? Because the default answer is to say, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. A long list of everything they hate. That's not helpful. Reinforce what you did well, and 2, what will I refine next time? This is a journey, and every time you put yourself out there, you're only going to become better. Okay? So this is the Carol Dweck fixed versus growth mindset. I'll quickly share with you. The big key to this is that in a fixed mindset, they believe that characteristics they're static. You were born with it, you weren't. A person's confident, they're not confident. You know, they can speak on stage, they can't speak on stage. It's either you have it or you don't. It's a very fixed mindset. In the growth mindset, it's different because they think that everything is a skill. It can be learned, it can be developed with time and effort. That's the difference here. And again, in the fixed mindset, you're going to avoid challenges because you're afraid of letting yourself down or feeling like failure. With the growth mindset, you embrace challenges. You go, okay, this is a challenge. I'm excited to put myself out there because it's leading me on the path to mastery. So I highly recommend take that on. It's a growth mindset that every time you go up, you're growing and you're developing. Okay. And 5th is commit to a bigger game. Commit to a bigger game. It's very easy to let ourselves down. You can let yourself down. It's January, whatever, 2020, whatever. A lot of New Year's resolutions have probably fallen off by now, right? Commit to a bigger game. When we go outside of ourselves, we're going to have the courage to do this. I remember when I was starting off doing YouTube videos, I'd be thinking, if I don't do this work, if I don't put myself out there, I had this huge wall of panic attack and fear all coming up. And I was going to bail out. There's a number of times either giving talks, exposure therapy. And the one thing that got me through it was, if I don't do this, I can't do a video to speak about my experience and how I got to win. I would connect with the people. I don't know who these people are on YouTube, but it was enough to motivate, to go outside of myself, to build up the courage to start putting yourself out there. So 1, know your why. Why do you do what you do? Connect with that. For yourself, for your family, for your community, each one of you, you are a role model. People look up to you. If you start showing up in a more confident way, you start building up your business, 10xing your income, all these things, they are going to see it's possible. Because you can look at big names out there, Gary Vaynerchuk, Elon Musk, Oprah, Sarah Blakely, all these big names, but that's too far removed. When they see you doing it and you taking your life to the next level, it becomes a lot more possible. 2, seize opportunities or live with regrets, the what ifs. If there's one thing I hope you take out of this today, do not have these what ifs. The what ifs are the killers. They're the ones that we look back and think, oh, I could have done this or I could have done that. Let's leave those aside and move forward with confidence. Black and white, I did it or I didn't do it. Okay. 3, seek discomfort to become comfortable. The more that you seek discomfort, you take it on, you're like, okay, this is making me uncomfortable. Great, let me put this off and celebrate it, that you are doing that most of your competitors won't have the courage to do. That's going to reinforce and build you up faster than anything. And then gets outside of yourself, right? Don't do it for you, do it to help others. Because we can let ourselves down in our own ego. Make it about yourself. I don't want to look bad. Show up to add value, to change the world. This is going to give you the confidence to start putting yourself out there. Now, I want to wrap up here with the top 5 regrets of dying. This is from a book by Bronnie Ware. Bronnie Ware was a palliative care nurse. And she would ask her patients who are there to die, what are your top regrets? It was never, I wish I made more money. But we look at this, like even number 1, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. That's why I started off with that inner game. Know who you are. What's important to you? We're all going to have doubters. We have had doubters. We've had past failures. Who are you? What does it mean? What do you want to do? That's first and foremost. 2, I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Think about this. If any one of these connects with you, take that on and remember it before you hit on that stage, before you go on that video, before you hit post. Connect with this, because you don't want regrets. You want to sit back and go, yeah, you know what? I did that. And the one thing I'll share is literally reframing it, that the second before you hit that big stage, and the big stage could be anything, but it's about putting yourself out there. You will be hit with a wave of resistance. But when you could embrace it and go, wow, this is a sign that it's meaningful. Not this is a sign that I'm not good enough or that it's going to fail. Sit with it that this is meaningful, and you are literally at the cusp. All you have to do is take that first step into it. You're going to get clarity and you're going to move forward. When you feel that resistance and take that step in, change relationship with fear and resistance, you're going to be taking action and you'll be building that confidence faster than anything. And Samantha, she came in, she actually flew in from Toronto. Just want to share with this. Literally 2 weeks after she did the training, she came in and she had an opportunity to speak in front of 180 people. And it was just such an empowering experience for her to get up there, be center stage and own her power. But the biggest part for her was that after, she had a bunch of people come up to her and say, "You're the best speaker of the night." And it was just so validating. That's the biggest thing, is to validate that you're right, that the actions you're taking are building you up and they're leading to your success. And I'll share, this is the last one here, is Marissa. This is in the Speak with Confidence training. She's a financial planner. She's a powerhouse of a businesswoman, has an amazing business. And she wanted to get up and speak about her challenges with infertility and to be vulnerable. And literally, she's there. She's like, "I want to do this, but I'm so scared." She goes, "I'll only do it if you're next to me." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that might be weird. We're going to think that I'm the father." But I'm like, I don't know how your husband's going to feel about that. But all these fears came up. And we got up there, and I started the video next to her. I'm not going to play the video. But we got up there, and she had all these fears. What are people going to think? What's my family going to say? I live in a family. We don't talk about these things. How are people going to react? And the vulnerability. Vulnerability is a strength. She hit go. She did that video, spoke from the heart, talked about her challenges with infertility and how they're on the road to have a child through IVF. She did that video. If you see here, 4,400 views, 5 shares, 165 comments. She's got hundreds of more. Those are public comments. She got hundreds of more private comments. The next day, she gets put on the Maureen McGrath show because Maureen McGrath saw this video and is like, "I need you on my show." The media exposure is built up. The biggest piece for her was having meaning. All her struggle with infertility now has meaning. She's had depth. This is probably going to add more to her business than anything she could have talked about financial planning related. Not the motivation, but a side benefit. The one thing I want to end off with is that vulnerability is a strength. A lot of times in business today, we hide behind the mask. Who do I have to be? What am I supposed to look like? One of my clients, he came up, he broke down in tears. He was 53 years old. It was on day 2 of the training. He goes, "I realized that for the last 30 years, I've been showing up in the world as what do people expect an architect to look like and to sound like and how to act. And I haven't been true to myself." He goes, "That's 30 years of hiding." I'm like, "Yeah, but we got time to make a big difference now." Shift it around. And that's the thing, is as we're here, be true to yourself and know that vulnerability is strength. Speak from the heart. That's going to connect better than any tactics or any techniques. And if you want to 10x your income, 10x your influence and your impact, it's about sharing your message in a bigger way. So what's next? Option 1, don't do anything. You come here, you'll have some video, you have some exposure. You're like, "Hey, that was great. I'm going to walk out and not do anything." That's an option. Probably not the best, but it is an option. Option 2 is do it yourself. Try. You're going to have a lot of struggles, blind spots, lack of motivation. We need accountability, support. We need a plan. We need a mentor who believes in you more than you believe in yourself to achieve this success. And option 3 is get support and guidance. And with that, if you want my help, we will talk about that. Yeah, maybe not. We will not talk about that later. This is the last slide that we have here, because if you want my help, what we have is go to levelupliving.com. I have 2 programs. Speak with Confidence Live. It's an intensive training here. I also have an online course, and I have a mastermind for people that I've worked with already. The Thought Leader Mastermind. That's an amazing program. Speak with Confidence is amazing to put yourself out there and get the confidence to seize any opportunity to get comfortable in your skin and to really have that breakthrough to be the lion and share your message in a bigger way. And the Thought Leader Mastermind is to connect with high-level entrepreneurs that are committed to play their game to be change makers in your industry. All these programs are by application only, so go to the website and check it out and come talk to me. Thank you.
Lucas, thank you very much for letting us into that secret of the power of public speaking in terms of building a business. And tell us at Tell Business, thank you very much for supporting the production of this video. Good night.
Yes.